see it now.
All right, can you guys hear us in Discord? Oh yeah, I can see us lighting up. There we go. Does it sound all right? You guys can see the screen share there? Because I'm in Discord, it looks like we got 4 people or 3 people in here. Can you guys want to hear us and 2 see that stream? There's a chat somewhere on here, I think on the right. It says welcome to the live streams. If not, post in general if it doesn't let you, I guess. So it's our first time using the Discord version. Oh, you can hear us on YouTube. All right, thanks, Jay. Okay, we got a thumbs up in Discord, so it looks like we're good there too.
Okay, it looks like I'm already a mod.
Good. All right, we can switch to the main camera.
I think so.
Our fancy new streaming fixture there.
Yeah.
We're trying out some new streaming software. All right.
And in a new location.
Yeah, in a new location.
All right, looks okay. Looks like we're going Discord. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll get started. It's 8 o'clock. So thank you guys for joining. It's we said we were gonna do these once a month, and this month lines up perfectly with the MSR-2 release. And so we'll be covering that. We can take any questions on MSR2, MTR, and then we've got some other product development if there's other time we want to fill. And so we're going to try to do these the first Monday of every month at 8 o'clock. That works best for the international people out there. It doesn't work great for Europe, but it does for most of the US and Australia. So, all right.
All right. You want to introduce yourself again? Just for, maybe
the
first time. So
that's true. So I'm Trevor at Apollo Automation. I lead the development and software and hardware side. And then Justin.
Justin, yep. I'm also one of the co-founders with Apollo Automation. More so on the manufacturing side, community side. I'm sure you guys have talked to one of us before. And Julian is more on like one of the other co-founders and more on the business side.
All right. This is neat being able to do it in Discord and up to YouTube. Okay.
Yep. Perfect. So it looks like the first thing on the agenda was MSR2.
Yeah. Okay. So MSR2. We just launched it on Friday. It's available now. It'll start shipping in probably a week and a half. It's always tough to determine the shipping times. It's just a small evolution over MSR1. So The only reason we're really changing the name is we swapped out the temperature, pressure, and was humidity sensor. So our firmware's slightly different, and we wanted to be able to keep it really cleanly, the two separations, as well as on this version, it has a backwards facing mezzanine port. So the mezzanine port, for people who are not familiar, mezzanine is what allows you to plug in the CO2 module onto the board. They're very tiny little connectors that allow us to connect things. And so the MSR-1 had one on the front, and with MSR-2 it has one on the front, one on the back. And so the advantage there is, with it being on the back, we can add in things like the backwards facing female USB port. So it allows you to plug a cable into the back. I don't know if you got one. Plug a cable into the back.
Yeah, of the MSR2s. Yeah, there it is with the female. Yep.
Like this. So it'd be a backwards facing, looks just like how MTR's is set up, where you can take a USB cable and plug it into the back instead of the side. And so what that allows you to do is you can make it a very clean setup in your house. You can set this on a shelf or a nightstand or wherever, and you don't have the cable sticking out the side of it. It's coming out right out the back and much, much cleaner. And feel free to interrupt anybody at any time. I know we got some people in Discord with questions or anything like that. We'll happy to answer them, just like the first one.
So Jay looks like he has a question about the MTR.
I don't know off the top of my head the MTR or the MSR2. You might
So
look them
yeah,
up on yours.
the MTR max distance should be with the 2450 is around 6 meters, and then the LD2410 is B is used in the MSR2, which was around 5 meters as well. So I think the 2450 has a little bit extra, like an extra meter or so, but they're both been pretty close in our testing.
Yeah, if longer distance detection is something that you guys are looking for, let us know. That's fairly far. There is a new radar module out there that does claims 25 meters, which is very, very, very far. We haven't tested it yet. We have one here. It's just a little module. It is a little bit bigger. It's a little more expensive. I think it's a couple $1 more. And we don't have any plan for it right now. We just bought it to test and play with. But if long distance detection is something that isn't being fulfilled out there, we are happy to talk about it more. Okay, so another question on the MSR2 from Sigma down in Discord. Is the ESP the same? Yes, it is the same ESP device. So both of them are still using the ESP32C3, which we think is a really good sensor for it right now. We would like to look at the ESP32C6. The C6 is kind of the next step from the C3. You have the same size footprint, which is nice, but you can get Zigbee, Matter, Matter over Thread, which would be pretty interesting to expand the connectivity. We have a pretty good time with Wi-Fi as being like a very easy to set up, ubiquitous. You don't need a dongle, and really good connection and latency as well.
Yeah, so. Very quick. Yeah, we've heard a couple times from some users. There's that debate of Zigbee, Z-Wave, Wi-Fi. People don't want to clog up their Wi-Fi networks, but we haven't experienced any of that. We have users who have also chimed in and said they have multiple Wi-Fi devices, without any issue. And we've tested it, and we'll click our LED button in the entities, and it's just on off, on off. So it works very quickly. Yeah.
Okay, and then the second part of that question, in the last live stream, you were talking about an extension port for potential microphones in the MTR. Yes. So unfortunately, the microphone capabilities we don't think are possible on MSR-1. That was just a limitation when we made that mezzanine port. We didn't connect enough extra pins to it that are needed. You have I2C, power, 3-volt, 5-volt, and ground. And I think there's one GPIO extra in the MSR1's mezzanine. So there are still things we want to do with that port that will be backwards compatible. We're exploring a lightning sensor module that would plug into there. I need to make sure that it's good enough, but I think that that's a cool sensor to have is a lightning detection. And we're happy to, other sensor modules, let us know. Like I said, I2C is available on it. So there's a huge number of sensors that could be added as tiny little additions. But yes, the microphone, we're still working on that. We just got a package today with the latest revision and looking to get it tested and ready.
So Tape Deck was just kind of talking about, thanks again, Sigma Vulcan, for the questions. Tape Deck on Discord, he was just kind of reiterating, saying that he will stay away from Wi-Fi devices that usually they have a forced cloud, or automatic vendor firmware update. So like ours is fully local, fully private, all ESP home, based and home assistant, local and private. So good point there.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, yeah. So back to MSR2, we showed off it has the backwards facing USB option that's out there. We're working on another backwards facing USB that, let me put this into a case, that would allow, well, first let me say it's still compatible with the same exact power brick and connector as the MSR1. So that is where it's like a little USB to USB connector that we sell, and they click onto them, and this will plug straight into your wall. It's really a very clean way to mount the MSR devices. Both MSR1 and MSR2 both work with the same setup. We announced it in Discord. We actually found a better supplier of these power bricks. They were quite expensive. So we have dropped the price on them quite a bit recently. I think for both MSR1 and MSR2. Both of them are out there.
Very clean, no cables, high spouse approval factor. Something that we wanted that we couldn't really find on the market. So, and then
one connection method we're exploring, and very interested to hear you guys' ideas. So with that backwards facing mezzanine, we can do a lot with it. And so before I was showing you where it was a USB-C port that allows you to plug in, but we've also got a working prototype of is a male USB connector. And what that allows is, that's the female. That's this one.
Oh yeah, there it is, okay.
What that allows for is to have this wall receptacle, and it has built-in USB ports on the receptacle. Actually, obviously it's not attached to anything currently. Hopefully don't worry. Somebody already called us out for not being electricians.
Don't worry, free man. If you're watching.
So with that, this is a backwards facing USB male, and that can plug straight into this and hold it straight into the wall plug. Now it does kind of overlap a little bit. You have to have a very slim plugs above and below. But another option we're exploring, we have them working, and it's something that we'll probably offer to people as just another option to mount them.
This is one of the most requested things, was to be able to plug it into the back, and then to be able to plug directly into one of the wall outlets. So, and they do make wall outlets that are just USB-C. So it wouldn't, wouldn't just block, wouldn't block plugs. I think they're more vertical. So, and we are looking at one that, this is horizontal. We're looking at a vertical option as well.
Yeah. So we're very excited about these mezzanines and growing what we can do with them, because this same exact male USB expansion piece works on the back of the MTR. And so that would allow you to hang the MTR off of a receptacle. Well, it doesn't really work with a receptacle because of the female USB on the back.
But it would work with a wall wart. You could plug it directly into a wall wart, and versus needing the adapter, it would just plug directly into a wall wart. I think we have a picture actually of it on our shop. I don't think we're currently selling it, but we do have a picture of it. Yeah. I'll post it here. One of the accessories.
Try to get this. We tried to set up another camera to help illustrate some close shots of things. I'm going to try to switch to it and see.
There, I'm posting the link now to.
Yeah, it's not zoomed in enough still. That's okay.
You can kind of see it though. You can get a cool little picture of the mezzanine. There it goes. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see this little tiny connector. How tiny that thing is. And like I said, that's what's holding the female USB port in this case onto the board. And it's the same exact thing that every one of the devices we've sold since at least like maybe the first or second month. Mm-hmm. This is the CO2 module.
Camera looks great, actually.
Yeah, CO2 module with the mezzanine on the back. And so we're really excited about that, about expanding this mezzanine module library that we have to allow expansions, like we said, with, you can buy an MSR-1 or 2 or Air 1 without CO2 and add it later if you want, without having to throw away your old board. And then as we add more and more sensors, like hopefully voice soon, being able to just pop that onto it without having to buy, a separate device. We're really trying to shoot for modularity and multi-function.
Yep. And, really big on e-waste. We've touched on it before. Really like what Framework's doing, what Opulo, those guys are doing with the Lumen PMP. We want stuff to be open source. We want, it to be available to you guys, and we do not want any e-waste. The MSR-1 is still, we keep getting questions. The MSR-2 is a small incremental upgrade. The MSR-1 is still absolutely amazing, but it's just, we just took community feedback and wanted to update it a little bit.
Yeah, so good questions there.
Yep, we have a couple here on Discord, it looks like. We've got, see?
Because of how small the MSRs are, you should really consider selling some of those really slim elbow USB cables.
Yes.
Yeah, if you have experience with one, post a link to us one time, and we'd be happy to check them out.
I'm pretty sure it's I'm not sure if Elguano did, but there's the very, very flat one that the guy had mounted to the ceiling, onto like a drop ceiling, and it was just a very, very flat like ribbon cable, and it looked amazing. I don't know if I have it saved. I think I have it saved. Let's see.
Okay. That's a good idea. We are, I'll tell you, there's been lots of requests, and it's actually a pretty cool thing we didn't realize was there are a lot of people who are just getting started with Home Assistant.
Which is good.
Which is
awesome.
Great. It's a surprising number that we get an email saying, "Hey, I just bought your sensor. How do I get started with Home Assistant?"
Yeah, they buy our sensors, don't have Home Assistant running,
which is awesome.
Which is awesome, yeah.
So one thing that we are going to start doing on our site as well is we found a really good source. Like I said, we found a source for these plugs quite a bit cheaper, and we also found a really good source for some high quality USB cables. These are just regular 1.5 white grayish braided USB-C cables that we'll also have on our site as little bundles with them with our sensors to help people kind of with the out-of-the-box experience and getting set up.
And then, yep. Looks like
Mahesh. All right,
yep.
In Discord. So is there a plan to have only the presence sensor and temp, pressure buzzer, and others as add-ons? There's no plan for that. Really with those, the cost of adding those components is fairly low. And like the size of the current PCB of the MSR-2 can't really get any smaller. It's pretty much at the limit. we could maybe go to a different ESP chip that doesn't have a built-in antenna, and like put our own antenna chip on there. That would maybe make it a little bit tinier. But if you look here at it, for those that aren't familiar, this big blue bar, that is the LD2410 that sits on there. And this large silver component is the ESP chip on it. So if you look, we cannot make it any less wide because we are at the absolute minimum that the LD2410 is. And we can't go any really vertical on it because the ESP chip plus a little bit of components are taking up all the space there. So how we were able to shrink it was by switching to a two-sided PCB and putting components on the back of our boards. So this is a long way to circle around and say the space is kind of available. Those components we think are some of the most useful additional functionality on them, and we don't really have a ton of plan to replace those on there. Let's see.
Yeah, Oglana, if you want to chime in, I posted a ribbon cable in both YouTube and Discord just to kind of see if this is what he was referring to. But they do make really nice minimal. It looks like he's typing now. Minimal USB-C cables that make the even the side port pretty much hidden.
Yeah, that's great.
And then,
great picture.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in.
Thank you for those shots.
In Discord, I don't think I can share it on here. But
no, yeah.
What a cool picture.
Yeah, we love seeing, and I think he 3D printed his own case as well. We love seeing, users who have taken our open source 3D files and changed them to their specifications, and we love to see the pictures. We have a showcase channel in our Discord. So if you have something cool you're doing with them, or even just an idea, post it in there. We need to be better. What we've talked about in the beginning, we talked about having a community spotlight channel where every month we would choose the best showcase, and we would send free centers to the user, just to kind of get the post up and for ideas for us and for other users. But yeah, awesome
cool.
Photos.
Cool photos, yeah.
Yeah, I love seeing that. And it looks like Aardvark Spleen back again. Good to see you, buddy. Says he'd be interested in cables that were 10 to 12 feet long. So maybe we can look at carrying something like that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
All right, what else with the MSR-2? You show them the articulating stand?
Yeah, same type of articulating stand on the MSR-2 that the MSR-1 had. Very, very similar. Same idea. We did increase or decrease the tolerance that is inside of the articulating stand to make them tighter. So they are a little tough when you first get them now. That's for the MTR or the MSR-2. They're a little tough. If you move it back and forth a couple times, it will loosen up. But we wanted to make them a little bit tighter. I think we've had two. Now it's 2 out of a lot, where I think either the heat buildup or something was causing it to sag a little bit and get maybe not as strong of a grip. So we did increase how difficult those are to move around in there. Just something.
All right, and then did you want to talk about this little right angle thing, the adapter here at all? We've talked about it.
We've been looking at it. I don't love the look of it.
It's just an option, but
another adapter. It's kind of like how you guys were talking about the right angle USB-C. This is just a right angle USB-C adapter that would go on the side. I don't know that we'll end up carrying them. We may do it limited. We have 100 of them from AliExpress, but it just makes the USB-C go backwards. But I don't love the color, and I don't love the bulk of it.
Yeah.
But
with the MSR1, if where it doesn't have the rear facing USB-C options. It's an option, or the ribbon cable like Elrano posted. So just an option. I mean, we've had users say that they would, versus buying cables and adapters from Amazon or AliExpress and Alibaba, they said that they would be interested in just being able to have our stores like a one-stop shop where they could buy their sensors, buy their wall warts, and also get their cables. So we're just kind of we're trying to, have that as an option on the store.
Yeah, we'll have to do a update for the workshop tour, because one thing with the number of SKUs, if we keep increasing, we're running out of room.
We are, yes, very quickly. Looks like Jay was...
Yeah, Jay, good question. So, on the MTR, you're talking about presence target value is not a possible choice in Home Assistant under triggers. So we were just talking about that in Discord with somebody else the other day. The stock firmware on an ESP Home, or the stock setup for the LD2450 that's in the MTR, doesn't have the presence detector or the presence entity in there. It's the way it's expecting you to set up your automations is to use the target counts. So you would say if the overall target count is above 0, or you can say if zone 1's target count is above 0. That's how it's indicating presence. But I'm very open to suggestions, and we were talking about it a little bit in Discord's general channel in the last few days.
Yeah, I think Mahesh chimed in, and then also Hobby Boy.
Okay.
We have a link here to what he did.
Yeah, very open to adding some additional sensors. So we did it with the MSR-1 with the zone presences. That's not in the stock ESP Home firmware for an LD2410. So we just got to agree and figure out what makes the most sense for the presence. So very open to keeping the discussion going in Discord. To see how that goes.
Yeah, Jay, I think you're in our Discord. I just posted a link to our MTR channel where I think Mahesh and Hobby Boy were talking about how they do it. And Mahesh, he responded in Discord saying that he has he set up a template helper to simulate the entity. Yeah,
so chime in. It really is community driven. I don't want to necessarily dictate what I think is the best and force it upon everyone that's out there. If we can kind of come to an agreement of hey, this makes sense. I'm open to adjusting the firmware. We've also said it before. Anybody who is a developer or anything, you're more than welcome to. People are making GitHub issues, or alter the code and show us an example or whatever that's been working for you. Happy to look over it and maybe merge them in. So great questions, Jay. So it looks like it wasn't in the Discord. So anybody who's on YouTube and not in the Discord right now, we're streaming to both simultaneously,
trying
which is
it.
Pretty interesting. And it's going pretty well, it looks like. So hopefully, let us know in Discord and YouTube if our audio quality or video quality, we upgraded ourselves a little bit this time. We'll be better next time. I can tell that the camera is kind of bouncing. We're currently using a pretty flimsy table. So we got to get it on its own tripod because I can tell it's moving around a little bit.
All right, I'm posting a Discord link now in YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know if Jerry is in here, but Jerry, thank you.
Jerry.
Jerry is a very big supporter of us, very vocal, and had some TV hosting experience, and gave us quite a few tips from our first stream. So we have done about all of them that we have. Hopefully I'm making better eye contact with the screen. So.
I think he watched our interview we did with Simon Says Home Assistant.
He's seen them all.
He was like...
He's giving us some tips, which is great. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can. If there's no more questions on MSR2,
I think there's a question on Discord from a user.
Loving the MSR1 and have mine set up almost perfect. Looking to get another. Just trying to decide on 2 or the MTR. Both are fine. I've got you on both.
Do you want to kind of touch on the 2410 and versus 2450?
Yeah, so we can talk about that. It'd be a good transition to talking about the MTR. So the main differences, there is a lot of confusion. They are 2 different products, like solve two different solutions here. So the MSR line, our multi-sensor with radar line, that is single target detection. So it's only going to see one person in the room, but it's really, really good at still detection. And what still detection means is that if I'm laying on the couch or I'm barely moving, you can tune it to pick that up, and that'll still see you as being in the room. There's also a lot more configuration functions with the MSR. You can tune the different energy thresholds, which is sometimes tough to get into. But we have a couple of good videos on it.
Yep.
The MTR line is for multi-target radar. And so what that is it can detect 2 people very well, 3 people, it has to have a very clear view and separation to get the third. And it can also tell you not just the distance, but it'll tell you the actual XY locations within the room that the person or people are. And that's a really, really cool automations get unlocked with that. So we can, for instance, say, is somebody at the, if I'm in my kitchen, am I at the sink or am I at the refrigerator? To do different automations with that or different triggers. We've had some people saying, I want to know, is it somebody sitting on the couch or is it my dog laying on the dog bed? So that's where like the MTR shines, is being able to show you the XY coordinates of the object or targets. It's not as good with still detection. It's not terrible. It's not as bad as PIR, but it's not as good as the MSR line.
Yep.
So a couple differences there. The MTR is slightly larger than, I was trying to find it. Is slightly larger. So this is the MTR, the larger one, and the MSR-2. So it is a bit larger, if that matters to anybody on there. They're the same height, but the MTR does have to go vertical like this. It can't. You can put it on the side, but you're not going to get as good of tracking, and you're not going to get very good XY coordinates. So it needs to be vertical, which is why it comes with a backwards facing USB to make it a lot easier to hide the cable when it's sitting down. It also has a little stand, just a real easy little stand to put it on your table. But yeah, those are a lot of the differences. If any other questions on why you would pick one or the other, post them in the chat and we'll take a look here.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it though.
Yeah.
But it looks like Ross is back. Ross, hello. Yeah. I don't know if you're in Canada or Arizona. Pretty sure it's the same Ross. Good to see you again though.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather's good. He just says, will the MSR2 have extra ports for things like microphone in the future? Yes.
Yes, it already does. So the MSR2 does have 2 sets of ports. It has 1 port on the front, 1 port on the back. Both are have the capability. They have I2C. They have a lot of other things. Whoa, we're blowing Jerry's mind with our 2-camera approach.
Yeah.
We've leveled up.
So there's
So yeah, you can see our first mezzanine is on the front down here. And so typically what you see that populated with is the CO2 module. That
clips right in.
It just pops right into that little port and just holds onto there.
There it goes. Okay, good.
And then there's one on the back now as well. So on the MSR-2, we've added the backwards facing mezzanine. So that allows you to have a CO2 module on the front. And then if you wanted, you could have a backwards facing USB. You could have, a lightning sensor on the back. Whatever we start coming up with for, we call them backpacks on ours, little backpacks for them. And we are very interested in hearing your ideas of what you would want to expand your sensors with. Very interested to hear those ideas.
So, and then
So,
Ross, that's
yeah,
about
good question,
MTRs.
Ross. Oh, great question. On MTR, we started shipping today.
Today.
Yeah, I think we had 30 or 50 of them shipped
Oh
out
no,
today.
we shipped out like 72.
Oh, 70.
today.
Sorry,
Yeah,
70 some got
today.
shipped out
Yep.
today.
Got our
We
PCBs
have,
in.
we have a very large box downstairs with that we have to continue working through. But we'll be working on those all day tomorrow, and maybe we'll finish them tomorrow. But if not, it would be on Wednesday.
Yeah, but they are. We got the full order of PCBs in. We started today, breaking them apart, testing
Put your
them,
hands on your lap.
and then. What is it?
You move your hands to your. There we go.
What?
They're shaking the table.
Am I shaking the table?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Jerry.
So, shipping out
Yep.
today. MSR-2 will start shipping maybe, like we said, in a week and a half. It's a little tough to figure out when it's coming, but
And Ross, I think we sent one already to Arizona. Did you get that one okay? I think we sent an MTR, MSR1. I'm not sure. We'll see what he says. I did. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I want to make sure. Okay. So it looks like Guano on a couple in Discord here.
yeah. Quick question on MSR1 and MSR2 with SCD40. If we can enable humidity, entity, and YAML. I don't know if you. Somebody asked this earlier. We were quite busy.
Yes.
Because
sorry.
on the MSR2 and MTR, they do not have humidity censored. We did that. We covered the reasoning in Discord. The big reasoning is the humidity, because of the internal heat buildup, is really tough to calibrate well. And secondly, we save about $1 in cost by removing the humidity. That again is not accurate, which allowed us to put the extra components on the back for the mezzanine, because a two-sided PCB costs more than a one-sided PCB. So we were able to put the components on the back. And what I really would like to look at, I've got to talk to some manufacturers to figure out if they can make it for us. But I really want like a 1-inch stubby temperature probe that we can just pop on the back of in the mezzanine port. It sticks out the back of your case where nobody sees it, sticking out the back, and then you would have pretty unaffected true temperature and humidity. That's a long shot. I've got to find somebody who can manufacture the sensor on a cable that tiny for us. But that's definitely the direction I want to go with it to get the better temperature and humidity.
And you touched on the humidity not being like accurate, but with the offset, in some time you can get it close.
Yeah.
But ideally, having something outside of the case would be best.
Yeah. So they do have temperature sensors on them, but again, because there's so much heat built up inside, there are offsets, and when you use offsets, if the temperature in the room quickly fluctuates, your sensor is not going to detect it as quickly because think of it like it's got a bunch of heat inside, and that heat's now got to go away. So yeah, El Guano, that's why you printed a case without the front.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, but again, so we only have so many engineering resources. We're pretty limited there before we spend our time currently. So it is very, we really appreciate it, and it's very useful to hear from people like, hey, I don't care about a lightning sensor. We want temperature probe, that allows us to devote our time in the right places, and it's a win-win. The audience and community gets something that they want and actually will use, and we spend our time and resources in the right places so that we're not wasting our time. So good question.
Yep.
Good
Thanks again,
questions.
Elgano. And then got another question that says, will you be selling the back USB?
So WTF down in Discord. I'm not sure which back USB are you talking about. The one that would allow you to plug into a receptacle, or the one that has allows you to plug in a cable to the back of it. So let me know real quick which one.
And then I did also post the one for MTR that goes into a wall wart. I'm not sure I don't think we have it on the site, but we're not offering it.
Yeah, we wanted to do some more testing with that one. The backwards facing male USB that allows plugging directly into plugs and outlets and things like that.
Looks like he's typing now, so we'll hear from him. But yeah, thanks again, Ross.
For plugging into the MSR-2.
So the female or male?
Yeah, so there's two options on the MSR-2 that we'll be using on the mezzanine. One allows you to plug a cable into the back, just like how the MTR is. With the MTR...
Well, I guess he says plugging into the MSR-2, so maybe he meant female.
Okay,
yeah.
If that's what you're referring to, where it's the actual USB port that allows you to plug a cable in, or if you're referring to where it's a USB male component that allows you to plug into something. Yeah, there's two options. The backwards facing female port, it already has a USB port on it. I guess just to clarify that, we're not shipping you a device that you can't plug in. So yeah, there is a USB port on the MSR-2. It's just on the side.
Yeah.
So works just like the MSR-1. It's still a great way to power it. That's how all of mine are powered.
Yep. Still works with the outlet mount. We talked on it earlier, but
still works with your outlet mount, where it can plug straight into a upfiring wall plug. The ones that we were talking about as being add-ons are the backwards facing port that allows you for a cleaner install, as well as the backwards facing male connector, which again allows you to plug directly into things for a nice clean install.
That was, I think our first YouTuber was Dr. ZZ's, one of the bigger Home Assistant guys, mostly into LED stuff. He did the really cool LED sphere. But the first comments that we got on that video was like, could you plug it into the back? And that was, so we're like, okay, we need to probably design that. And people really, really want it for ceiling mounting. They really wanted just a nice, clean ceiling mount. So to have the power come out of the back, was pretty crucial for them. But the MSR-1 does have GPIO you can power from the rear.
Yeah, it requires some soldering.
But yeah. It looks like, okay.
Yeah, great questions there.
Yep. We're good now. You want to anything else with the MTR? We talked about the articulating stand at all with it?
Yeah, nothing much on the MTR. It's got a very similar articulating stand.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing much there.
Did we show them a bare one at all?
No, it's fine.
Some people like to see it. We have it all on our wiki too. We're still working on our wiki. We're still working on documentation. We've been very busy. But we will get that updated. We promise. Yeah.
So our push this week is shipping MTR and finalizing the wiki. Finalizing our wiki for the MTR and MSR-2. We've got a lot of work to get done on that. We've got a lot of examples, a lot of good examples out there from you guys. One I'm really excited about is on the MTR for sleep tracking. So we did a really cool experiment with that on the first Reddit post. Somebody asked us about it. I didn't know the answer if it could do sleep tracking. So we hooked one up to my bed while I slept. It was actually really cool to watch the amount of movement I was doing at different periods of the night. So it was able to keep track of me. It would, not always have a target, but when there was no target, I assumed that I just wasn't moving enough. But we want to make another proper wiki article on that to show that automation and show the data. It looks pretty neat, and many others. We do get a lot of questions and stuff, obviously, when we release a new product. So that helps drive our wiki articles as more and more people have specific questions, because it's tough. Like, I've been working with MTR and MSR-2 for months now, a lot. So things kind of come naturally to us, or we know the quirk or whatever and don't think about it. So just let us know in support channels and we can help out.
There's another really cool, talking about the community, if you go to our showcase channel that we were talking about earlier, there's a user named Mono who has a really, really cool CO2 ventilation command center where he has some really cool looking graphs that show how his HVAC system is automating the CO2 levels in his house. And it's really neat to see the CO2 levels rise and see where his HVAC system is on, and to see how it's working and keeping the CO2 levels at a safe level.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask. If anybody in the community, there's a lot of requests for being able to help with dashboards or cards for our sensors.
Blueprints.
Well, yeah. I don't think there's blueprints in the dashboards, but there is something out there. I think it's called Auto Entity or something like that. Auto Entities. It's an add-on or extension for Home Assistant. If anybody has good examples of that could help us out, we would be very, very thankful if we could make some easier to share Home Assistant cards for people. That doesn't require, because right now, like if I share one, you've got to go and look up your, MSR or MTR's entity name, and then you got to go and change all of mine to what yours is called. And I think that there's a way out there to almost have like a drop down for you to select and go that way. So possibly. So good questions.
Do we have? Let's see. So Elgano we had a question about using the devices as Bluetooth proxies, and just asked if that will affect the performance. You can use them as Bluetooth proxies, but I think the ESP homepage does say there's potential for connection issues.
Yeah, it's more so around the connectivity.
Yeah,
that it's using the essentially antenna and everything for two things. But
Elgano, where it was like, I'm doing it now. The only side effect is maybe a little bit of extra heat, 4 to 6 degrees Fahrenheit. All
right, Ross, I was just getting ready to open up into that. So you guys are creating a lot of products in a short amount of time, relatively. MSR and MTR are very similar, except for the radar. Air One was a new venture into totally different sensors, and these back plates, we really like putting time into these little backpacks, because as much as we can allow them to be reusable across sensors, the more options and flexibility it gives people. What's next? So we use a Google poll or a Google form that's out there that really, really drives our product development. So it's a form that, it's on our website. Justin's going to post it in chat.
Yep.
And it's just looking to say, like, what are you interested in that, you're having a tough time finding? And, or like, what is your idea for a sensor, So currently, Ross, what is in the pipeline is we are working on a parking sensor for your garage that is a battery powered, or could be wall powered, but battery powered sensor that you put on your wall of your garage, and it's got a light system at the top, And at the bottom, actually I can show it here. It's a little light array at the top that has red, green, blue on them. I'm looking at maybe setting it up to be like fully RGB and not just be able to turn on those three.
To help with color blindness and that sort of thing.
Yeah, we want to find a way to have them addressable and so that, well, let me explain the use case. So the idea is you have this on your wall. It will connect to a lower portion. There's no cases for these yet, so they are a little ugly. It'll connect to an ultrasonic sensor at the bottom. And you put this on your wall. First time you put it on your wall, you pull your car in, press a button on the device, and that's going to lock your car's position in. So now it's going to go into deep sleep. It's going to conserve its battery. And then the next time that it detects you pulling into your garage, it's going to kick on and it's going to start measuring your distance and telling you, are you green, so you're far away? Or are you yellow, you're approaching your stop zone? And then at red, or however we determine it, that's where you have set your car's parking spot to be. This has been quite a big request for people who have very tight garages like mine. I've got to touch the wall almost if I want to get my car in there. It's good for people who have things in front of their garage, so refrigerators or storage. Another use case for me is I have to walk in my garage to get to our 3D printers. And if the car is parked too close to the wall, then I have to walk around the car, which takes me extra time. So it's more efficient if the car is like 4 feet from the wall, and then it makes a path that I can walk in front of it. So that's another use case.
I think we had a user, right, who said that their spouse had accidentally was running into their refrigerator pretty often.
Yeah, something like they were like, yeah, the current parking sensor is when so and so hits the wall and then puts it in reverse a little bit.
Yeah, drives by sound. Yeah, parks by sound.
Yeah. By feel.
Mahesh said the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, we're working on that. I'm really trying to lock in the power connectivity of it. I want very long battery life. So yes, exploring that right now. It's very late development. This is revision. This one's revision 2, but that's not the most recent one.
Is that 5?
Yeah, this is 5 on the top. So we're quite a few revisions in. We want to make sure it's right. So working on that. That's it will be one of the next sensors, and then after that, or it's tough to say after. The other big sensor that's in development is a plant sensor. So that is the number one requested sensor on our forum. And for both of these sensors, if you'll link them, Justin, we have an open channel in product development. It's a channel in Discord where we talk about our design decisions that we're making. We talk about problems that we might see with them and try to get feedback to see, make sure we're developing the right product fit for everybody. So like I was saying, the second sensor that we're working on pretty heavily is a plant sensor. It'll do soil moisture monitoring, soil temperature. I'm trying to work in so it would have an expansion port on it to allow for more advanced sensors like pH and nutrients, a whole bunch of other things, little probes. And again, shooting for battery life on that one. We've been talking quite a bit in Discord from the very start, saying, we're not going to be the cheapest. Like, there are a lot of very cheap, very simple, low quality plant sensors out there on AliExpress. We can't dive to the bottom of price and sell them for $3, $5, whatever they're selling them for. So the way we can add benefit is functionality and to build a better sensor. So whether it's lifespan or quality or more, like I said, more functionality. That's where we're trying to look to make the difference on them. And so yeah, we're talking about some of the trade-offs in, like price and where we would have to sell them at, and the functionality that we could offer at those price points. So great questions there. Those are the two main things we're working on. We're working on the microphone backpack is probably the biggest backpack that we're working on right now, trying to get that one ready. It's a tough one. There's it's a lot of complexity to get the tiny microphones, to get it all running on the ESP alongside everything else. And
Thanks, Mesh.
yeah, thank you for the good to go. Got to go. Keep up the good work. Thanks. So yeah. Ross is telling us in YouTube, I need both the parking sensor and the plant sensors. You guys keep reading my mind. Well, hey, thanks. We're reading your mind because we are listening to your guys' feedback in those forums,
Exactly.
or the
product survey.
The product
which
survey.
I posted in both Discord and
so yeah, or just letting us know ideas. We get lots of people telling us ideas. We then take them and we go look to see, do the market research to say, is there something out there? Can we make enough of a difference? Can we make a good product here? So yeah. Thanks, Ross. El Guano, I'm seriously thinking about how I could use the parking sensor. The ultrasonic module won't interfere with the ones already on some cars, right? I not that we've noticed. My car has ultrasonic. Justin's car does not.
Just vision based. Yeah.
Fancy.
It works.
My truck has
very
ultrasonic and not noticed a difference. I think we'll be good there. I've looked at a lot of other distance measuring functionality. Ultrasonic is the best for the distance ranges that it can measure, both close and far, and cost. And then also accuracy of it.
Yeah. So this one could get pretty close, up to just a few inches, right? I mean,
I think it's less than an inch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, laser is a little more accurate, but the max distance is very low, and the min distance is large. So in the use case, I want my car to be right up against the wall, and we need to be able to do that. So
Ross was just saying that good spouse approval factor with with those as well. So that's what we're all about. And then looks like WTF in Discord, he's asking if the garage sensor will be independent from Home Assistant.
Yeah. Move your hands a lot.
I'm just trying to type.
We're going to get a tripod for the next month, I promise you. So our camera is not shaking this much. Okay, WTF in Discord is asking, will the garage sensor be independent from Home Assistant, as I want one for my mom? Okay, so now, Ross, you guys are reading our mind. Yes. So we do want to offer that where it's also, viable. And in that case, the parking sensor is. We've looked at the ones on the market. We think we can make significant improvements. And yes, we will always want to support Home Assistant and working through that way. So that you could trigger automations based off of your car coming into your garage and such. But that is a system where it doesn't have to have a Home Assistant. Exactly. If I want to give it to my grandparents, and you don't need Wi-Fi, you don't need any app or anything. You put it on your wall, you click the button, and you're good. The functionality of it will work without anything. So yes, that is exactly what we're shooting for that as well.
Good question. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
And then question about millimeter wave.
Yeah. So someone in Discord's asking, I've seen some manufacturers release respiratory and heartbeat sensors built on millimeter wave. Is that something you will be doing, or even fall detection? Yeah. So millimeter wave is the hot topic of like the last 6-8 months or whatever. And there have been a huge number of millimeter wave modules that have been made, as in like the different versions. And yes, some have, respiratory, heartbeat sensors, things like that, fall detection. We don't have a plan for those right now. it would be interesting, but no plan for that. Fall detection, the FP2 has that functionality.
They use a 60 gigahertz, I'm pretty sure, millimeter wave as well.
Yeah.
Whereas the 2450 and the 2410 are both 24 gigahertz.
Yeah. So we don't have any real plan for that right now. We're our business, thanks to you all, is growing very well, and so we're able to keep scaling up more and more each month, and that gives us more and more resources to devote to more and more product development. So right now, I'm the only product developer, so it's quite limited by me and my time. But as we continue to grow, we do want to really grow this and keep it growing this business and hire on engineers, product designers as we keep growing. We're not there yet, but we're not that far. Towards the end of this year, towards the start of next year, we want to keep increasing our output, but stick to our same principles and beliefs that we've had so far. So we'll maintain open source, we'll maintain connections with the community, things like that. But so nothing on the board right now for that, just because we're pretty limited, and the focus right now is plant sensor, parking sensor, microphone.
But that would be something that potentially could be something that we could easily modify one of our PCBs to work with that, one of those sensors, and then you'd have that sensor plus the multi-sensor that we offer. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wish that the millimeter wave manufacturers would settle on a standard for their connectors. The LD2410, the LD2450, their new 24 or 25 millimeter or 25 meter range radar all have different connectors.
Yeah. That one's from DF Robot.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That they're all different connectors, and they all have problems with where they have weaknesses. So it's tough.
So next thing I have is like YouTube reviews and collaborations. That of course, if you have any questions, please keep them coming. Looks like Discord or some stuff, but we just wanted to talk about recent YouTube reviews that we've had from mostly Chris. He did one. He's kind of the one that kind of pushed our MSR-1 stock to the end. We were hoping to give you guys a little bit more of a runway with the MSR-2 launch, but he released a very, very awesome review. Just a nice real world, honest review. So mostly Chris, thank you. That was awesome. And he brought a lot of traffic our way. We've also, of course, Simon Says Home Assistant has been doing videos. He did one on our MTR, did one on MSR2. So he's awesome. We also did an interview with him. So go check out his channel. Hands On Katie is another one we've been talking to. She just released a video, I think, a couple days ago and showcased our Air 1 and MSR-1. So she's got some things coming down the pipeline and a couple of reviews and a couple things she's going to do with those. And then, of course, Dino over at Smart Home Scene is been awesome. He's more of a blogger, doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he does a great job over there. And then who else? Oh, Smart Home Australia. So we've been talking to Paul, I believe, over there, and he released a video of the Air 1. He's been doing a great job. Talking to him about helping serve Australia and New Zealand a little bit better. And
I got a couple of Discord questions.
We got some? All right.
So on Discord, the MSR-1 currently is set up for 3 zones based on the 8 gates, I believe, but we're limited to the X-axis. Is there any way future to get data for the Z? No. In the MSR-1, you only get one. You get the distance from you to the target, or from the MSR-1 or 2 to the target. You don't know if it's above you or below you or where that's at. That's not our limitation. That's the limitation of the firmware and probably just the sensor as well. But that is where the MTR shines. So the new multi-target that we're shipping right now, that can tell you the actual XY location in the room. So you can know exactly where the person is in relation to the sensor. It's got some really cool automations that you can make with that. It's not as good as at still detection though. So that's the trade-off there. You get the actual XY coordinates, but okay, yeah, great.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is nice because you can make zones, within the field of view of the 2450. That's a really neat thing with having those coordinates. So you can make separate zones. You hit on it with the couch and the dog bed. So you have a zone for your dog bed and a zone for your couch. And I think you can have up to 3 zones in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really neat.
Yeah. Iguana, will there be a separate microphone unit, or that just going to be MSR MTR add-on? Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, that's a good thought. One thing that we're very lightly working on, like it's more as its own for our own use cases, is our own development board. And so what a development board is, it's like there's tons of them out there. They have, it's a little board with a whole bunch of pins on them, like an Arduino that you would buy. And it allows you to quickly connect up different sensors. I don't know that we don't have a huge plan to sell it. It's more for internal, because the first step when we decide to work on something or we want to start testing something is I build on a breadboard, connect up with different sensors and all of that to make sure that they work. So I've been working on building my own development board so that it's the same hardware and the same setup as an MSR-1 or MSR or MTR, and it has a mezzanine port on it. And so that would be a really good way to allow, if somebody just wanted to tinker around with one sensor, say just CO2, then you could use a development board with a CO2 module. Now, like, it wouldn't ship with any code; it would be just something for development. I don't know about that, if we'll sell it or not, but that's a good thought.
Yeah, it'd be cool. That you were asking for more people to say, hey, what kind of sensors do you want on the backpack? You want lightning, you want microphone. If we ship out the development boards to them, or they sell them for cheap, then they can work on different things and say, hey, I've got this working for it.
Yeah.
So that would be awesome.
Yeah. So great question. So we'll think about that. Ross, maybe same Ross from
I think it is actually
from YouTube now. So there are lots of retirees who leave for trips. Yeah, he moved. There are lots of retirees who leave for trips for weeks at a time with a sensor that reads the water requirements and hooks up to a way to the water. Yeah. So that's kind of what the idea with the plant sensor is. The plant sensor is going to tell you about the, I don't know why I'm blanking on the moisture in the soil. That's what it's going to tell you about. There are a couple options out there that already connect to Home Assistant for controlling your sprinklers. They are very expensive, I think, for what they are. And that's possibly something we could look at. There's nothing on the board right now. But we have been thinking about that, both outdoor sprinklers and if you wanted to hook a little water tank to your indoor plant and have it auto water. That's 2 things that we've got ideas for that could be extensions after we get the plant sensor out there. So thank you very much for letting us know about that.
And so we're getting close to time, but I want to touch a little bit, kind of something with the company. Trevor was saying, obviously, thank you guys for all your support. It's really helped us grow. We actually have started working with a company called Awesome Inc., a local company, and we were actually one of 4 businesses chosen in the state of Kentucky to join their fellowship program. So they help us, stay on task, stay honest, and we have meetings weekly, monthly, quarterly, and we have a lot of support, a lot of networking, and they actually have some people who can help us with videography, so maybe help us with our streaming setup, help us with photography, some coding. So we should have some updates to our website here soon. We'll probably put some stuff in the Discord, and ask you guys what you like better, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
so
that is a good thing to call out. Awesome Inc. It's a great resource, a free provided resource here in Lexington and Kentucky area. So yeah, we're very thankful to get into that program. And Justin was hitting on it there again. Something that we'll be asking you guys' opinions on is we had the opportunity to get a revamp on our shop, on our website. We really want to make sure it's very easy to still shop and everything, but just clean it up a little bit. This is my first Shopify site. I mean, my day job, I am a software developer, but I am not strengths in front end. So, full stack, I would say. Yeah. So yeah, we had the opportunity that we were taking to, give a little facelift to our website. We're very excited for that. You'll be seeing that, and we're interested to hear your feedback. We want to make it as easy to use. And I hit on it earlier, and I think somebody else was just talking about on the parking sensor. We've really found more and more people that are like, we are their gateway sensor into Home Assistant. They find out about us, through whatever means, and think our product is cool or for useful, whatever, and want to get started with Home Assistant. So we also want to make our site a little more inviting to that crowd. Right now it's very
you get in, you get out.
You get in, you can see the technical details. You get out. So we really want to work on that a little bit. So you'll see some differences coming over the next couple months there.
Not too flashy. It's good,
we don't want to be too flashy.
Minimalist, modern, good colors, potentially a new logo. I think we talked about it last time, and we're working on a new logo.
It will still have the dog.
It's still gonna have the dog, but it'll maybe look a little bit more professional, and so we'll see. We'll run it by you guys.
All right. We're a little over an hour,
but I do want to shout out, we have on here as well. So you guys have talked about our stickers before, how you like them. They sent us a video of them making them. We use Black Cat labels out of San Diego. I can't pull up the video because I think it's only mobile only on Instagram.
We'll post it in Discord. It's a really cool video that they sent us.
Yes. Of
our stickers getting printed, and they're a small print shop. Over in California, right?
Yeah, San Diego.
Small local print shop. They have a lot of good capabilities and very good quality.
We were very impressed with the stickers. We weren't really sure what we were going to include in the packages. Very happy. They're very quick delivery, especially if you're in the States. But it just awesome. I just want to give them a shout out because we've been using them. We've literally ordered thousands of these. So it's just wanted to give a shout out because of the quality, and we've got comments on them. People have asked us about having Apollo swag on our shop, or so that may be coming down the line eventually. But
we'll see.
Mostly stickers and stuff now. But
all right.
Any last questions?
Any last things? We're on here. We still got some people in both Discord and YouTube. So happy to answer anything else. Although it's not like it's hard to get a hold of us in Discord. If you forget, we're always there with questions.
We've been very busy, so we've been haven't responded as quickly today. I responded to some right before the live stream, but besides that, we've been just pretty much heads down, building sensors, testing them, getting the MTRs out. Yeah,
so. One thing somebody was asking us about was or suggested. A friend or family was giving more of like a how we build the sensors video. So if that's something that is interesting to people, we did a workshop tour a few months ago.
Yeah, it's completely changed though.
It's way bigger now.
Yeah, the workshop's the same size. We just have more stuff in it.
More stuff, yeah. twice as many 3D printers.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are very open to sharing more about the business side and our operations and things like that, because we're new to this as well. We're learning a lot. We make some mistakes here and there, but
That's like
listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yep.
And watch a lot of other small manufacturers. A huge one that we watch is Opulo, which they used to be called Lumen. They're a pick and place company here in the States, over in Pittsburgh. They're kind of doing the same thing we are. They're bigger and have had a couple years on us, but their trajectory is something that we like and we want to follow, which is growing local hardware, software, open source, community driven products. That's kind of our what we want.
They have a really, really awesome podcast called Open Hardware Manufacturing Podcast. So definitely give it a listen if you can.
Yeah. For the nerds out there, that's ohm.
Yeah.
Right? Like an ohm. Resistance. Yes.
Let's see. I saw some people type it in Discord, but I don't see any other questions or anything. So.
All right. We will wrap it up here then. Thank you very much again for all the people who have joined. This is pretty cool. We will be back again in a month. So again, the first Monday of every month is when we want to start doing these at 8 o'clock. And happy to take any questions. It'll be on product development as well. We want to keep you more up to date on the products that we're bringing to market and about our business's growth as well. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for all the questions.
Yes.
And have a good night. We're gonna
or morning, depending on where you are.
Some people could be in morning.
Good day. It's about 9:14 p.m. here.
Yeah, we will end with this though. We have made it to. We said this the last stream.
Yes,
we are on every continent in the world except for Antarctica. That is our year goal, is to get to Antarctica.
If you know somebody, a scientist, somebody going there, get us in contact. We want to. We'll cover the shipping. Free sensor. We just want to get one there. Yeah. So if you know somebody, and any university people who are going down there do any sort of work or anything.
I just want to say we're on every continent. It's not fun saying you're on every continent.
6 out of 7.
But it is the hardest though. So sensors are going to Turkey.
Oh,
we have been to some cool places.
Wow, so. Ross is in Canada, Arizona, Turkey.
It's worldly.
That's awesome. It is cool to see them. But we talked last time about them being on the islands between like Greenland and the UK.
Yeah. Iceland, yeah.
Or Iceland, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize.
The Faroe Islands?
Yeah, okay, I think that's correct, yeah.
Faroe.
That is pretty cool.
But it's just really cool to see, I don't think we've made it to Easter Island or like the Galapagos yet, but I think we got Madagascar, which is pretty cool because that's a feat in itself.
Yeah. Well, it is pretty cool to see them out there. So thank you all for your support. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your suggestions and feedback and ideas. So thank you all very much.
Really, really appreciate it.
Yep. We'll see you. Have a good night.
Have a good one. Bye.